Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube Star Trek episode discussion and review. I'm Major Rage, and I'm joined here tonight by my fellow Trekkies in arms. To my right, we have Lord Donkey. How are you, sir?
Really good. Really happy to talk about Captain Tuvix.
Right, Captain Tuvix. Oh, Lord. Okay, Zam, how are you, sir?
Fine, thank you, and behold the power of rock snot.
Indeed. And to the left of him is Cousin Cheeto. How are you, sir?
Hanging in there, doing okay. Can't wait to talk about mirror universe shenanigans.
Right. So, kind of alluded to the what's going to be happening in our two episodes that we're going to be reviewing this evening. Season 2, episode 13, a Tribble called Quest, and then episode 14, Cracked Mirror. Why don't we give a little synopsis of the first episode, where they head to an M-class planet to get exotic matter, the bosonite, so they can make a new protostar for the drive. But soon discover that it features a gigantic tribbles and an exiled Klingon scientist. Lord Donkey, what was your overall impressions of the episodes?
First one here. It was great to see the Tribbles come back. And a nice little twist that they are now more carnivorous and they have a hard exoshell or something, like rocky outside.
No, it's more like hair gel, you know? Like they just have hair gel now.
Oh.
I don't know.
No, the Tribbles were great. I loved that they had a little twist and golden glasses. Golden what?
Golden Glasses. It's our award show we do every year.
Huh? I know that much.
Oh, I don't know what the protocol is. We should probably all be watching for like hitmen to be coming after us.
Oh no. Let's see. Oh, this one had a nice towards the end, I guess. But did you guys notice when Chakotay's we're taking off from the planet and Chakotay says, "Take us home"?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't catch that.
From
Didn't
Voyager.
catch that.
No, I didn't pick up on that at all.
That's all I got.
Is that like his saying, "Take us home"? Or
No, isn't that what she said in the first episode of Voyager?
oh, maybe might have been. I actually don't remember
I thought it was the reference, but
it might have
maybe I'm
been.
making things up.
I'm sure Daniel Vance will let us know.
If not, Rick B will.
Now, he'll just tell us that Klutzman goofed it all up and that it sucks.
Yeah.
Objectively now. He'll throw that word in there now.
Yeah.
Okay. Zam, what were your impressions of the episodes this week?
Two slightly different episodes from one another, which is a good thing. They were okay. It's really hard to say. Like I almost felt like both episodes were like kind of tribute episodes to what we've seen in the past. Obviously, Tribbles in various instances whenever they've been able to be on front of our screens, they've always been used nostalgically in more recent years, in my opinion, especially with that DS9 episode, and so yeah, I just appreciated it from that particular sense, and same with the episode after that, which I'll happily talk about that once we get onto it.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean by the paying homage for sure. It's always nice to see the mirror universe. I'm a particular fan of that whole thing. Cheeto, overall impressions?
Talking about episode 13, it was a serviceable filler episode. Like in my opinion, like I know they were finding the proto-mat, like the bensonite to make the proto star drive work, and that's fine and dandy. I mean, I'm glad they were able to find this rare substance so close to where they were. So I'm very glad they found that. It didn't take them any time at all to find it. But still, I mean, it was a serviceable episode. It was, as I said, it was okay filler. I didn't love it. Zam likes to say, I didn't love it, but I didn't love it. No, I liked it, but I didn't love it. There we go. That's what Zam says.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's for this
I
episode.
can be our tagline.
And just really quick before we move on, Dina Vance says, set a course for home is what Janeway says in Endgame. But I think Lord Donkey was talking about the first episode of Voyager when she's, like right after they blow up the Caretaker's array and, they, of course, strand the Ocampan and, without their water source and everything like that. So
Difference. Yeah, set a course for home was what Chakotay said.
Yeah, in this episode, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I also felt like the first one was pretty serviceable filler, but at the end of the day, that's what it was. But at least it wrapped up nicely and got them to Voyager by the end of the episode. It wrapped up in one nice little package. Then we can do... it was really a rok-tauk episode, though. Did you guys feel like it was one as well?
Oh, yeah. Immediate friends with the Klingon scientist.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it felt more predominantly rok-tauk, with a dash of zero.
Yeah, I liked that. It was nice to see one of the other characters get a little bit of time in the spotlight, especially rok-tauk, the brains of the operation.
Yeah.
Yeah, rok-tauk in the main plot and zero in the subplot. But considering we're having episodes now where it's very hard to have subplots because it's just focusing on the same people without jumping elsewhere, that's about as subplotty as it gets regarding Zero's body and how it's falling apart.
Mm-hmm. Can't be healed.
Yeah.
I like the theme of having to learn to deal with your mistakes and accept that mistakes happen. I feel like that's a good kind of moral of the episode for adults and for kids to internalize.
Like Lord Donkey saying, yeah, sure, I'll join you for your Star Trek review show. Yeah, you have to deal with your mistake.
Mistake this whole time.
I mean, the old adage goes that we learn from our mistakes, and we sure do. If we never had mistakes, then we never know how to proceed. Learning from mistakes is what makes us who we are.
Yeah. Those who do not learn from their mistakes are doomed to repeat them.
Mm-hmm. And another... So we get to see rok-tauk standing up to that Klingon who was about to light it up. The Bosonite. Is that a reference to Bozeman?
I guess so.
Kelsey Grammer, Fraser.
I mean, maybe. I mean... I don't know if Bosonite's ever been a thing in Trek before. I mean, there's so many like alloys and ores and special substances in Star Trek. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they made it up. I wouldn't be surprised if it was some deep cut from an episode of TNG in just a mention on a planet.
I just feel like the more we watch this season, it feels like there's all these references they're just plugging in. So I'm always just hunting for them, I guess.
And I mean that's good though. Like again, it makes it feel like it's an expanded universe. You know what I mean? Like Prodigy is taking all of these references and everything like that and doing like serious like universe building. Whereas Lower Decks, by the way, have no problem with Lower Decks, but Lower Decks is more doing it in a comedic fashion. Hey, remember this thing? Like that's Lower Decks. Prodigy's like, hey, remember this thing? We're bringing it back, or we're making it more relevant.
I'm not sure if you guys picked up on this, but I actually felt the Klingon was almost in a way a homage to James Avery, aka Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Who played the Klingon on many occasions.
Especially in Enterprise, he played a Klingon scientist. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the one. What was it? Was he?
Oh.
Wait, was he the? Yeah, he was the one that was trying to make the Klingons augments, and then that's what happened when they got the smooth ridges and everything. Right? I'm pretty sure he was that one.
He was
I-
the guy in charge of the colony there.
Oh,
Was
that's right. He
Uncle
wasn't the
Phil.
scientist. You're right.
He wasn't the scientist.
Yeah. Oh man, I
No.
messed up my reference.
Now, obviously, unfortunately,
Hard
James
work.
Avery is no longer with us. But whoever was doing the performance of that Klingon, he was giving off those vibes. He really was. He had the appearance of the way the Klingon looked, and the movement, the appearance of it, almost Uncle Phil moments with him and rok-tauk as well. Like I was getting, those sort of vibes from it. That could be just me looking to pick up on things, but that's how I was feeling.
No, I made that correlation, but that was because I thought that the Uncle Phil, Avery Brooks, was a scientist in that episode. But you're right. I misremembered which character, but I know he was in those episodes. But
James Avery,
or
Brooks
James
as well,
Avery. I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
But speaking of the mistake that happened, and it was who brought up the rok-tauk snot earlier?
Me did. I
The
did.
exam.
Me did.
Figures.
Rockstar.
I should have
Rock-
known.
Rock snot, to be more precise.
Snot.
Rockstar.
It end up creating Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
So
I thought-
super marketable. Now that Murph's no longer cute and marketable, then we've got a new mascot type character in the works.
Murph is head of security. He's the fighter.
Yeah,
I mean, in
can't
this
be cutesy
episode, he
anymore.
actually did security thing. Was that's this
the next
episode?
one.
No,
next
it's
one.
the
Oh,
next
okay.
one.
He fights Smear Chakotay. Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
Yeah.
like, Murph is like sort of this almost like this thing where he has an ability that only really comes out at the most last minute of moments when you're about to die or something like that. But in this episode, obviously his abilities was more him just thinking on his feet and using them, and so I'm liking it, and he's more than just this weird thing now. He's got abilities, which I'm happy to see.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys think they're gonna try to market this Bribble?
Hell yeah!
Oh, yeah.
I think it's always. But look, there's ways of doing things. Like, let's see how. Like, you got to look at it from this sort of perspective. We need to know how popular this show Star Trek Prodigy is with kids. Let's create a character now that's cute and cuddly and we can sell. And if it sells really well, then we know kids like this fucking show. And that's one of the ways of marketing this shit to kids and understanding if it's popular with kids by selling a cute, cuddly character like Sonic.
Yeah, but I do kind of hate the fact that Star Trek is doing the same thing that Star Wars is doing. They're always trying to introduce something cute and cuddly. And I get it. Like, there are cute and cuddly things in the universe. That's fine. But I'm just like, it feels like every show now, like the Moopsie from Lower Decks, and they did put their comedic spin on it. But, it feels like now in every Star Trek, they're just like trying to make some kind of cute, like cute marketable thing. And you're right. Like, it's a marketable thing. And it's like, as long as they introduce it well, that's what, like, Moopsie was fine. This new little, Sonic the Hedgehog thing, what was it called? A rock sock?
Gribble.
Rock snot is what I call it. It's called a gribble, but I prefer
gribble.
rock snot.
Okay. Daniel Vance says, I love that you think adults won't buy more rock tribbles than kids. Look behind Cheeto. No, I will definitely. I mean, here's my thing though. I wouldn't buy that. Like, I would buy a rok-tauk pop. I would buy a Jankum pop. I would probably buy a Gwyn pop, but probably not a Murph or Dal pop. Like, I'm not one of that where I'm like, oh, I got to have everything in this collection. Like, believe it or not, like, I just have the characters that I like.
I'm glad you mentioned Jenkin, by the way, because last season when I was saying who was my favorite character, I would have said rok-tauk, no doubt. This season is Jenkin Polk. He's been my favorite. I think he's underrated, and there's more to him than meets the eye. And it's just his interactions with him and Zero when he's trying to have a bit of bedside manner and all of this sort of stuff while she's in pain or they're in pain. And mentioning the fact that how he improved his own body parts by obviously having that metal arm when it came to trying to tell Zero about how to improve themselves physically and all of that. It was a yeah. I think he's a very underrated character this season, and he is comic relief, but there's a lot more to him than we give him credit for. I think
We
he's a
just
great
in order for it not to be more of a kids thing, though, we really need that payoff. Like we really need to have that payoff moment for Jankum. I agree with you. He's had some really great character moments in this season, but it seems like they are playing him more for laughs. Not like from last season. Last season he was just complete out joke. This season they're actually giving him some character beats that are like, okay, if there's a payoff here, it'll be really good.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Think that payoff was very early on or earlier on this season when he actually thought he was a hologram and he wasn't?
Yeah, I mean that's a part.
He
That's
built a time machine.
Huh?
He said he did build a time machine.
That was
shuttlecraft.
That was plot convenience. I'm sorry. Like, how do you build a time? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You watch the 24th century we're in right now. The 24th century equivalent of a YouTube DIY video.
Yeah, I know that's why I'm saying. So you want to build a time machine? You probably shouldn't, but here if you want, if you need to.
Detailed instructions on how exactly to do so.
Yeah, right. Dana Van says Majel is my favorite this season. I do like Majel's addition. I do like the addition of her into the crew, but I'm glad they didn't add the Elorian, the one that's Morn's species, because he will never shut up.
It'd be so bloated with unnecessary dialogue.
I know, right? He would just not stop talking.
I want to
Deep Space Nine reference right there, everybody. But okay.
I want to mention obviously the addition of the Klingon in this particular episode, a Klingon scientist, which Chakotay found kind of remarkable. I think to myself, surely Klingons have scientists and engineers, or they wouldn't be flying around in fucking space. Mm-hmm. But
exactly,
and they wouldn't have the weapons that they have and all of this sort of shit. Okay, fair enough. When they went into his chambers, I thought it reminded me of bloody Las Vegas for a start. It had that particular vibe about it, and I did like the way, obviously, how rok-tauk was able to figure out quite quickly the solution to his problem, and how he couldn't go back to the Klingon Empire unless he resolved the Tribble problem, which was a nice touch, in my opinion. I thought that was really clever in giving him a storyline.
Yeah, I mean, because the Tribble is one of the greatest adversaries of the Klingon Empire.
Was DS9 the last time we saw Tribbles?
Yeah, no, there was a short in Disco. There was a short in Disco called the Trouble with Edward, I think, where he was doing experiments on Tribbles, and then Lorca had a Tribble. It was a neutered Tribble, but it was a Tribble.
I'm sure we've seen them in Lower Decks as well.
Probably in Lower Decks, and Picard also. Picard season 3, there was that assault Tribble or whatever that was on Daystrom Station or whatever it was.
Assault Tribble, I forgot about that.
Look, I don't know about you, but I wasn't happy how they're animated. They look like giant furry meatballs.
They taste like.
Struggle with hair textures.
Yeah, their hair like the beards also look really weird with this, and I mean it's very like Star Wars Clone Wars-ish. I mean it looks very like Obi-Wan with his beard in Clone Wars. It's just it's hard to nail down facial hair with this animation, and that's why I'm surprised.
You can see it right in the middle of us with Dahl's nose, and then his little cut of his hair.
Yeah, that style of animation can't do fine. Fine fibers and hairlines.
Locks.
Yeah.
Dana Vance says, I think I'm the nerd to mourn, but I endeavor to be the Garrick. You are whatever. Daniel Vance, you are whatever you want to be. We will acknowledge you as whatever you want to be. If you want to be the Grand Nagus, you're the Grand Nagus.
Yes, sir.
I support that. I second that motion. So, yeah. rok-tauk's plan, and what do you think? Decent plan? Put all this serum in the grain and feed it, introduce it to this sizable population,
Well, isn't the whole planet full of tribbles? Only that area. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
you get the planet to be very small if all those bags of grain is there to deal with every tribble on the planet.
because how long did he say he had been there? 10 years or somewhere? Like it was several years that he had been there, right? Trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well,
How
he's
long
been there
do
for,
tribbles just sit there without food because they ate the planet barren, right? So
and they multiply as well. So
That's what I'm saying. Like that, yeah. Them feed. That was my thought. Is when they were feeding them. I'm like, so does this spread to other? Is it like a pathogen that like spreads to other tribbles once it's ingested by those tribbles that ate it, and then it's like a pathogen that just like infects other tribbles, or like that's why I thought I'm like, why are they putting it in grain? Why wouldn't they shoot it into the atmosphere or something? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it seemed convoluted unnecessarily.
it was a very convoluted.
but
answer.
The funny thing is, ironically, it was her plan, rok-tauk's plan, which never came into play. It was her mistake, of Rocksnot, being the savior. When it came to them being overwhelmed.
I feel like that was
tribbles.
a very easy solution. Oh, the new mistake Tribble talks to them, and we're done. They just retreat and they're okay. You guys are cool. We won't eat you.
I got when they were doing that. If you guys have seen Tangled, it's like when the horse runs up to Rapunzel and like the what's the reptile's name? I don't remember his name, but like when like this big horse just runs up to Rapunzel and the lizard's on her shoulder and like the horse is like looking at the little like lizard and then the thing goes like the lizard points down for it to sit and then this big horse just sits and it's like that's what this is. It's like yeah, talk to your fellow tribs.
Yeah,
that's the inkling I got from that scene. I was like,
I need to see Rapunzel to get your meaning, but fair enough.
Tangled, but yes, it is the best, in my opinion, the best Disney movie ever. Tangled is.
Okay. I mean, I know the story of Rapunzel, so yeah, why not? Let's give Tangled a shot.
Yeah, I love it.
It was my favorite world in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely my favorite world in Kingdom Hearts 3. Frozen's world wasn't too bad either, but we are getting off.
But it went on forever. This is Tangent Station.
It did go off, yes.
From Twitter, Twitch, I apologize. We have Mag Ow. Hey guys, hello.
Mag Ow.
I hope you saw episode 13 and 14 of not Lower Decks, Star Trek Prodigy, season 2.
That other animated one,
which we're talking about right now. Yeah.
About to move on to the second episode, unless you guys have anything to add. I mean,
are we ranking these ones separate because they're kind of like they're not two-parters?
Well, they got the crystal, obviously, which is what they needed to power the Protostar.
In the end, they succeeded it.
Yeah, to power the Protostar's proto warp drive.
They've got to make a new Protostar out of that material. The Klingon scientist is able to go home thanks to Rok's solution.
Yeah.
Rok learns to accept mistakes and accept,
And Zero is starting to feel the effects of the new
degradation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I get a what? Can I get a what? Is that
a what?
A what?
A K? A KK? The Spanish for what, right? K? Mm-hmm. Just 2 Ks. Not a third. Times. Just 2.
And
you're going to get us
Volt. Yeah.
Whoop. All right. You want to rank them really quick?
Well.
I already put the poll out.
And we can be done with this one since it feels separate.
The poll is on YouTube, by the way, not on Twitch, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want me, I'll go first. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It was adequate. It was nice to see the tribbles again. It was an interesting moment with the Klingon and what they had. I'm not sure how I felt about introducing this new character, who Janeway ended up, using, her light pen on at the end to look after, which is also funny. But it was cool. And by the way, just so we missed that, we know how rok-tauk likes cute characters, and she was almost like trying not to engage with the cuteness of that creature that she created, but she couldn't help herself at the end, which is nice as well. But yeah, 7 out of 10 for me.
Excellent. We can go to Donkey next, then Cheeto.
I give it an 8. I really enjoyed the Tribbles. Just hearing that sound, because so Star Trek Online, and I'm going to reference that in the next episode more. You have Tribbles as an item, and they give you certain effects. So just you click on them, and you hear that chirp from them. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, the Tribbles are back. So, but I feel like the ending was a little too easy with, the new one just talked to them, and now we're good. So.
No, a lot of the stuff that's your normal Trek, what the entire episode would be about, was kind of hand waved.
I didn't like. Sorry, before we go to Cheeto, I didn't like the way that rok-tauk grabbed the Klingon's gun and then threw it away. Like they needed the fucking gun to stop those Tribbles from killing them, And
But that was a big moment for rok-tauk, standing up to the Klingon and preventing the Klingon from blowing them all up and sending them to.
Because the other Starfleet characters were using their weapons to, on the Tribbles, but for some reason she thought, you know what, I'm even though I've apprehended the weapon, I'm not going to use it myself. I'm just going to throw it away, because he was going to use it to blow up that material to kill them all. But yeah.
Cheeto?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7. I mean, it was a serviceable filler episode. It got them, it got the Protostar drive back on. So we didn't really dilly-dally with the whole getting back to Voyager thing. Like, they were back at Voyager by the end of the episode, which leads us into the next episode. So I like that. I enjoyed that. As I said, it was a good serviceable, but this episode did not outstay its welcome. But yeah, so I'll give it a solid 7.
I'm going to give it an 8. I don't disagree with anything that you gentlemen have said. I feel like I don't have anything new to say. It's a good filler. I like that it very much that it just got the whole thing of getting back to Voyager done and out of the way instead of dragging it on. So we get more of the actual key plot.
Man, we are getting some commenters on Twitch, by the way. All of you guys on Twitch, thanks for joining us. If you want to do the poll, that we have the poll open over on YouTube. There's a link above. I can post it again if you guys would like. But
just a quick mention my bird. What I love about her, this Lemon in particular, is that look at her legs. She doesn't just sit perch on my hand. She rests her whole backside on my body, and I love it. So yeah.
Well, I mean, when you sit on the toilet, I mean, you put your whole butt on it. So when they poop on you,
let's see if I can
get the whole hand, not just the pinky.
Right?
And this is Icarus, by the way. That's Icky. There we go.
Welcome to PetTube. Everybody, grab your pets. Mine's laying over here.
This is that was a male. This is a female, and I've got another one as well, which
this is intermission for our review. It's PetTube.
Oh no, she's gonna poo on me. I can see it. Don't even try. No, she's not pooing up.
Oh,
is that Vivi?
That's Vivi.
Mine are all upstairs and the door is closed. So sorry, y'all.
That's okay.
Mine have appeared before though.
Raven's in with mom, and not feeling good actually.
Finally, this is Sonny, the big fat boy. I lured him with a polo mint. Yeah, there we go. So
I still have some of those.
That is not poo. That is a bit of paper. All right.
Polo mints. I went through mine hard.
Yeah.
Actually, guys, I may have to step out. I'm being told my parents might need me ASAP. So
Fair enough. Do what you have to do, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was planning on giving this episode a 9. The next one. I really enjoy Mirror Universe episodes, and I really hope they revisit the Mirror Universe in this Janeway, this Janeway era. I always love like what they do with the Mirror Universe stuff, because it's kind of like, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's you know what I mean? Like, it's just all fun, and like, you can lose anybody at any time. There's more stakes in the Mirror Universe because they're not afraid to kill people off there. So I didn't honestly think Chakotay was going to make it to the end of the episode after many times he got beat up. I thought Janeway might have gutted him, but a little bit too much for a kid's show. So
Yeah.
all right, if I can come back, I will. But you guys have a great rest of the review. I will find out what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, you do what you have to do,
All right.
mate. Take care. Bye bye.
Yeah.
We have a comment here from Replacement. Just call me real fast. Step away for a moment. Okay, Replacement. That's a pretty cool name, by the way. And by the way, too, Mag and Joe, please join us here on YouTube, where you're mainly gonna catch us and see our comments and stuff like that, and join us on our polls as well. So, okay, so what's the next episode called?
The next episode 14, is called Cracked Mirror. And in it, our young heroes make it back to Voyager, but they must move through different realities on each deck until they eventually wind up in the Mirror Universe.
This episode for me is a homage to my favorite Star Trek episode of all time. It's the one with Chakotay in season 6, where Voyager is split into different time zones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite episode of all time, by the way. I love that episode. And
Okay.
it was basically a homage to the entire series of Voyager, that episode. And so I like the way they did it with all the issues they had with every episode that they did during the course of that series. So yeah, I thought obviously this was slightly different because this was not necessarily different time zones. It was and it wasn't, but it was different realities. If I went left and instead of going right, then this would have been the reality I would have ended up with. And so that was the difference in that particular sense, because we got to see Okana. Is that correct?
Okana again. Yeah, they're in the one reality. And
who recognized the kids. But obviously, the reality he has created was different to the reality to the kids that created, because
it branched
the
at the point.
Yeah.
Branched at the point where they failed to or succeeded to keep the weapon from going off.
Oh yeah. So
the way it branched off right there, you're almost expecting the TVA to pop out.
Yeah. Another one of the realities was where Janeway died taking the Infinity on the mission through the wormhole. And like Adam mentioned during his intro bit, overall impressions, the reality where Tuvix became captain of Voyager.
Captain Tuvix.
That had a
Captain Tuvix.
older feel to it too. It didn't it? It was like the TOS era sound effects.
Yeah, and even the uniform seemed a bit weird as well, which I couldn't understand why, but okay. Sorry guys, this is Cheeto's brother. Sorry to crash the stream. A little bit of family issue. I understand. Don't worry, we totally understand. Family first, mate.
Hi, Chris.
Family, yeah, absolutely, family first. Always say that around here.
Everything's okay.
Yeah.
Reels. But no, they end up capturing the mirror. Do you want to give your overall thoughts of the episode, Donkey?
So let's see. I like Cheeto was saying, I love anything Mirror Universe. Anytime they touch the Mirror Universe. Soon as Janeway came on scene, though, this is where I mentioned I would bring up Star Trek Online, because they have Mirror Janeway. She's Marshall Janeway, and she had that Borg implant right here. And in the game, she was able to use it to resurrect dead crew members to come to her defense when people turned on her. Tilly, mere Tilly turned on her. Great story. I haven't gotten to the end of it, but it was. I kind of wish they had gone in that direction a little more, but I can understand that the game is its own thing. So, yeah, I love the mirror stuff. That Chakotay had to paint the mustache on his face, the
Grease.
goatee.
That was funny.
So a lot of good moments in this one. But something I thought about at the beginning, and maybe this is a tangent for later, but now that the proto drive is back online, how do they explain that away again later on in canon for it not appearing for Discovery? Like the spoiler.
I think we're gonna have to find that out in future episodes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably
Something to
resolve
think about
that.
for later, but that's enough for me.
And I, for the most part, enjoyed this one. I love the mirror stuff, like Cheeto said as well, like Adam said. Just I thought that the getting away over and over again though was a little unlikely, but has to happen in a kids show.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of rolled with my willful suspension of disbelief on that. But overall, I'm positive.
I just need to know: was it Ronnie? Ronnie Cox is still with us, by the way, which is amazing that he is. But was he? Did he voice Admiral Jellicoe in the first moments of this
That's
episode?
right. He was on Voyager.
He was in Enterprise. Sorry, TNG actually when we first saw him.
Well, no, he was on Voyager when they arrived with the Doctor.
Oh yeah. Sorry, sorry. I know what you mean now. Sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, and it could have been that same actor. I'm not 100% sure, but
it sounded like him.
Yeah, it did sound.
Check IMDb.
Sound like him. I wanted to really like this episode, or love this episode. I kind of liked it because I felt like this is where like having a 20-minute story, runtime is a hindrance because the subplot once again was in this case was rok-tauk and Zero, and obviously they're in alternative timelines as well. But the only thing we saw with them was that one moment where there's a Captain Tuvix. We never saw anything else from them.
That they didn't at least show Captain Tuvix.
Yeah, it becomes a noodle incident.
Referencing him, great, but
always have to wonder.
And Majel disappears, when they go to the Terran universe for some bizarre reason. That never really is explained, but she does, and also another thing as well. Like I always thought the transporter rooms was just a place for convenience, as a way of like what's the type of word? Like being regimented, because you don't need to go to a transporter room to transport. You can transport anywhere you want to anywhere you want, if you know what I mean. So them trying to repair the transporters, I felt was a bit weird because you just need to repair the technology to transport than repairing the transporter room, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, kind of like how they did away with the transporter room in Discovery last few seasons. They just have their personal transporters.
Yeah, I need to go upstairs. I'll just transport,
Linus would always
convenience.
Transport to the wrong. Wait. Counselor Gnome? Who was that in this episode? Or was that...
That's the Tellarite.
The big Tellarite.
Yeah.
That's Jason Alexander. Sorry, I'm on IMDb right now. Anyway.
Anyhow. Murph getting the last laugh on the Chakotay and taking him out when the evil Chakotay wants to attack or agonize the cute one, I thought was funny. It's like the sadism and evil backfired on him. I thought that was a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I had to find that. Yeah, Ronnie Cox does reprise his role as Jellicoe.
Oh yeah, he's right here.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got distracted by Jason Alexander. Speaking of the cute one, though, the other cute one, how they basically turned hologram Janeway into a cat mom. That was a
laser
nice
pointer.
Mm-hmm.
Built-in
laser pointer finger. Yeah.
I love how she admits that she's doing it going to be more entertaining for her than the Bribble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, we can't have Rox not saving the team again. So yeah,
Fair.
But they almost got away. I mean, they almost get away, but they run into the Mirror Janeway and can't fib their way through. Though,
yeah.
Is it just me, or was there a thing between Mirror Chakotay and Mirror Janeway? Was that the implication?
But I've always found the Terran Universe characters to be horny anyway.
Yes, I mean? They always are.
They couldn't do very much of that in a kids show, though. So all we got was
they pushed as far as that's as far as we could go with it. But they sold it. It's just like, okay, the adult fans know what's up.
Regular Chakotay thought of that.
Yeah, they fuck each other one episode and kill each other the next.
Janeway in that way, I don't think.
Well, they almost had their relationship when they were stranded on that planet for a long time.
Yeah, and had to play house.
Exactly. So
we have evil whales in the Mirror Universe too.
The
whales are loyal to the Terran Empire.
You can tell they're evil too because they got a little scar on their eye as well. Just
they can't have facial hair.
Yeah, which is what happened to Murph. They gave him a beard. Oh, yes, that was so good. Yeah.
I love that, and he acts like he's one of the persons in charge. He's not acting like a prisoner. He salutes at the other guards.
It's weird in a way because it's clever, but at the same time, we do know that the Terran Empire are xenophobic. You know, I mean, they're lucky they have a Vulcan on their team, so in Spock, you know. But regardless, they're not that nice when it comes to having other alien races as part of their crew. So, but regardless, you know, Murph was able to pull it off. So I liked it.
He pulled it off for real.
Yeah.
Eventually, though, with the looms show up, and unexpectedly, the Mirror Janeway ends up helping, blasting them off the hull. But
bit of a twist.
And the Mirror Loom also happened to be more evil looking as well. So they were Mirror Looms, weren't they? Like they were the loom of that universe.
Yeah, the colors seemed inverted, I think.
Because there's a difference between timelines and realities, I guess. And so in that case, because it was a different reality, they happened to have like Terran looking or evil looking looms as well. But yeah, it was a clever moment for the Terrans to realize, okay, look, you know, regardless of us not liking the Federation versions of us, we have to stay alive and we have to kill these loom guys. So yeah.
No, pragmatism won the day.
But I just want to say, like, the cleverness of the writing, because once the loom came into play, that they had an ability to stop people in time, and the only and I like that because it it's consistency, you know, regarding how they do stuff, because I totally forgot they were able to do that. And so when you saw Chakotay trying to hit that button,
and
the magic button, and you get slowed down, but only Gwen is able to do it because of her having her magic bracelet around her wrist, around her shoulder. So yeah, the time variance thing, whatever. So yeah, she was able to save the day on that particular occasion. Love it.
Yep. I love how you called it the magic button. That's exactly what it was. It's always the deflector dish too.
Everything calibrating. Yeah, we've got amazing technology, but we still need to calibrate.
And it takes just enough time for it to be perilous.
Yeah.
But regardless, in the end, Chakotay and Admiral Janeway got reunited at last. In what I felt like was a touching moment. It made me feel the warm fuzzies.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was
He
it was nice.
had his goatee on still.
Yeah, and she had to figure out what was up with that.
And he's dressed up as a Terran as well, which was
Yeah,
a nice touch.
lots to explain there. Like, but that's the end of what I have prepared. Was there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about in particular about this episode?
Let me look.
I mean, O'Connor was back, but whether he will play a bigger part in the future, I have no idea. He was just there. I think that was strictly fan service. He offered
think so,
nothing,
too.
Was that?
whatsoever.
Yeah, he gave some
O'Connor.
exposition.
O'Connor?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rogue, the wannabe Han Solo.
Yeah.
Solo.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he was just there for cameo.
I don't know what it
Cameo and
is
exposition.
about pirates, but they have to look like Pirates of the Caribbean pirates. You know, they can't give them a more unique look. You know, when it comes to pirates in space, yeah, they always have to look like pirates that they were like, you know, like Johnny Depp. You know, it just yeah, and that's what he looked like as well, O'Connor. Yeah, and this
Yeah.
could be Star Trek or Star Wars. They do the same shit. So
They do. It's coding to let the audience know quickly what it's supposed to be.
yeah.
So they use something we already recognize.
Comment here from Daniel Vaughn. I have so many questions about there being a mirror Jillian. I can't even comprehend a mirror universe voyage home. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be that. Like the whole point is that they're part. The people are the same, but the paths are different. And not every single person is. It's hard, you know. My God, I'll be going on about that forever. So I don't want to. But but I'm just going to keep it as simple as that. It kind of looks like someone from Ice Pirates. I used to love that film. I loved that film as a kid. You watch it now, it's dated as fuck.
Did you have anything else in particular you wanted to talk about, Donkey?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Then we can get right to the marks then. Final thoughts and
Sure.
marks. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'd give this one a 9, like Cheeto. I think it went beyond just a regular filler. This was a nice reunion for Janeway and Chakotay, and a good adventure with the multiverse, which we've not really seen Star Trek do other than the mirror universe. They don't touch other realities like some of the other sci-fi. So it's good to see them kind of branch out a little bit with some what ifs.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to do when it comes to animation as well, which is why I want a little bit more. You know, so
Yeah, this is one that could have made a great 2-parter, longer time with the crack in the universe there.
Both episodes I feel like could have benefited from being a 2-parter on their own.
Yeah.
Maybe trim some of the other filler episodes out completely. But no series is perfect. Zam, you want to give it a mark?
I wanted to really give this episode a much higher mark, but unfortunately, as I said earlier, this is an episode where the runtime was the hindrance for this episode because there's a lot you can dive into, and they weren't able to, especially with subplots. I think subplots are always hindered by a 20-minute runtime. They really are. So the subplot with Zero and rok-tauk never really materialized other than a bit of fan service with Captain Tuvix. I'm going to give this episode a 7 out of 10. Once again, it was palatable, serviceable, and a nice moment when we finally got Chakotay and Janeway reuniting. Lovely, I love it. It's becoming quite Voyager-y now with some of the characters we we're saying including the Doctor as well. So
Yep,
yeah,
it's the Voyager equivalent of Picard season 3.
yeah,
Almost. We just need Paris and Seven and oh my lord. Why am I blanking on Roseanne Dawson's name? We would need Tuvok as well, yeah, but B'Elanna Torres.
and
I
give us
believe I could.
and give us an Enterprise character as well. And I think, a TNG character. I think the closest we got is maybe is Jellicoe, who's more of a guest star than he's a guest star, not even a main star, but at least he's been on TNG first. So that's to replace the 7 and 9.
The Doctor, remember, was the EMH on the Enterprise E, so close enough.
No, because he was Voyager first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and he's also been in DS9. Just not forgetting as Zimmerman. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to meet in the middle, and I'm going to give it an 8. Feel like it could have benefited from being longer, like Zam said, but I'm not going to hold it as much against it. I enjoyed what bits of the Mirror Universe we did get to see. I've not played much Star Trek Online, so I didn't know that we've seen a Mirror Janeway before. I've always been curious of what a Mirror Janeway would be like. And I'm glad to see that it's still action.
No.
The last thing we want is Andy Dick back as the EMH.
Antonio Vance, I don't want Andy Dick back in anything. Andy Dick can go fuck himself.
Yes, absolutely.
He can go fuck himself. What a wanker of a human being he is. I mean, it upsets me that somebody like him is on Star Trek in the first place, which is not supposed to necessarily have perfect people, because William Shatner's far from perfect. But people with a bit more humanity, and Andy Dick has none. Fuck him.
Yeah, he's a walking smegma stain.
Yeah.
Well put.
So yeah, that's been our review of episodes 13 and 14 of season 2 of Star Trek Prodigy. I want to thank you for joining us here on NerdTube. Got more than just Star Trek content. We talk about Star Wars stuff. Like, you could go back and see the Acolyte reviews. Until they ended, Zam was doing House of the Dragon and Mayor of Kingstown reviews. And those are all still up on the YouTube. What have we got coming down the pipe?
I might do Zam's TikTok traces tomorrow, but unfortunately, my own personal life is a bit juggled. So it's very hard for me to basically have a mainstay weekly product at this moment in time. But there are some shows that are coming out in the future. One of them being the Lord of the Rings show that we will be reviewing on a more weekly basis. So keep an eye out for that. We've had reviews as well. Myself and Christine, we did Umbrella Academy season 4.
That's right.
And Ginger and Cheeto did the review of Cape Crusader. So there are stuff already currently out.
Review Cape Crusader.
Yeah, I have not seen the show, and you know what? I won't watch it either, because it just feels like a waste of fucking time by the looks of things. So thank you very much for Cheeto and Ginger for announcing how shit that show is. But if you want to find out more, watch their review. And watch my review of Umbrella Academy season 4 as well.
Yep, lots of reasons to subscribe and check out NerdTube. We like to say it's the best channel that you've kind of sort of maybe heard of. I want to thank my co-hosts, Lord Donkey, Zam. Thank you to Cousin Cheeto, even though he's not here to hear it. But mostly thank you to the audience. Can't have a review show without you. Until next time, take care. And if you've already forgotten, you've been watching NerdTube. Remember it.
Bye-bye, guys.